Some of you in the room right now, you are where you are, you're giving 60% when you have 120 in you. Why? Because you never made a decision. Those of you in this room, you already there. Your problem is this is stuff you don't want to give up to go. Listen to me, pound for pound, any agent in the room, pound for pound, motivational speaker, pound for pound, entrepreneur, pound for pound, athlete, pound for pound, weightlifter, pound for pound, whatever you do, I guarantee you when you do it, nobody can do it like you do it. The problem is you don't hardly do it.
When you do it, nobody do it like you do it. That's right. That's the CFB Nation. And I am joined on this marvelous episode of CFB Prime by my man, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, CFB Moon. Moon, how we doing tonight, buddy?
I appreciate you having me first and foremost. Second, it's a long time coming. And third, I'm ready to cook with you, Nino. It's a long time, bro.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been about a year, my man, since we've been on screen together. Well,
I know.
Maybe a little less than a year. It's for Senior Bowl, but it seems like it's been a year.
Yeah, it feels like I told you, but I told you in the green room. It's been 84 years.
I'm like Benjamin Button, but I just never age, you know?
Yes, and we're super excited to get to it tonight. Special shout out to CFB Nation. Special shout out to you. Your show has been doing absolutely numbers. I'm so proud of you. And
you, my guy.
For sure. Even without the numbers, I'm proud of you because I know you put the work in more than anything and more than anybody I know, for real. So yeah, I'm ready to kick to it, bro. What you got on the schedule for tonight?
So we're gonna be talking the top 4 games, HBCU edition. Okay, I know a lot of people want to talk, you know, the big fellas. We're gonna be diving. I know this is something that's right in your lane, and I'm none other than the guy to bring it to the masses. I had to get you beforehand. We gonna run rapid fire. I know this is something that's right up your alley too. So right off the rip, you give me your best all-time football game snack.
Your football game snack automatically is popcorn. Because every time I come to a game, the smell of popcorn, the smell of barbecue in the air, the smell of like those things like just make me feel connected to the game. Every time I went to games, like that is one of the things I always wanted to have. And if I could throw out an honorable mention, I would say M&M's, peanut M&M's.
Okay, all right. I'm with that. I can mess. Popcorn is just it's a go-to anyway. You can't go wrong with popcorn.
Can't go wrong with it. It's all faithful.
Right. And it's many versions, so you know what I mean?
Yes, especially the different kind of variations. I've had some Oreo popcorn recently, you know, that changed my life, man.
I had Fruity Pebbles popcorn, bro. Some of those.
What?
Oh yeah, the same, dude. I'm telling you, there's a brand that makes this wild popcorn, man. It is absolutely amazing. They come up with all different flavors. But next one up, hamburger, hot dog, football meal. Which one you going with?
I'm going with the hamburger because I always like that grill option, but it's not by a wide margin. Like it's not a huge gap between it. It's kind of neck and neck almost. It's like personal preference, if you're being honest. And my personal preference, if I get that burger and it's grilled to perfection, I like my burgers a little bit more like on the crispier side and get some cheese, get some all your condiments. I'm hitting every time, you know.
All right. Yeah. I mean, listen, I need a little pink. I don't want that hockey puck, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I feel you. I'm going to go with it, but I'm not a glizzy guy. So give me the burgers. All right.
No glizzies.
No glizzies, bro. We don't, you know, no Joey Chestnuts up in here.
Right.
HBCU team with the best strip.
I thought hard about this. I just don't think that I would be able to live myself down if I did not choose either Alcorn State or FAMU.
I gotta go Rattlers. For me, it's the Rattlers.
And I would choose FAMU just because you can't. The signature orange and green sticks out. The snake, the type of drip that they've been pulling out lately. I saw them recently in week 0 when they came out to for the MEAC SWAC kickoff, and they pulled out the white drip And I say, yo, they have it. They have this in their arsenal. I saw them in the Celebration Bowl. They had it at a green. Like they got a lot of different variations. But I would say that because we're getting more funding, that I think the drip is going to start to go up to another level, bro. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Especially 2024 and beyond, it looks pretty good.
Listen, the Rattlers have the Rattlers are like the Oregon Ducks of the HBCU when it comes to uniform combinations and drip. That's what I mean. They got the orange one with the green pants, right? And then they got the orange helmet with the green snake and the gold like trim.
Yes.
They got some wild ones, bro. I mean, I'm a Rattlers fan, so I'm gonna have to go there. Top new coach in the HBCU, and there was like 12 vacancies coming in, at the end of last season. So who's the top coach, new face for you right now?
Coach Teddy.
I had a feeling. All right, we're gonna get to that in a minute. So we'll just revisit that in a minute. HBCU football or marching band? Which
Marching
one?
band.
Yeah.
Marching band. Like I don't care if somebody is getting smacked on the field. You still stand for the fifth quarter, though. I guarantee you are. You're staying for halftime. Like that's automatically the case. Like when you go to some of these games around the nation, you see some of these teams. We get a chance to travel on the CFB Nation tour. A lot of these student sections,
you get to travel on that. Don't be modest, my guy. You are the resident HBCU guy for CFB Nation. So this is why I had to have you on. You know more than anybody else. I dibble and dabble a little bit, but this is your lane, my guy.
Marching bands. The Marching 100, seeing them up close and personal week 0 was like chills. Absolutely chills. Them playing Norfolk State. It's just so much togetherness, bro. So much. And just that way the bands sound, like they compete. You go to YouTube, people are like, yo, who won? Which side won? And they don't even care about who won the game. They care about who won the contest on the fifth quarter and the halftime. Yeah. So that's how that
come up with like designs to throw straight shots at each other on the field. I'm gonna tell you something right now, Moon. I know you know, but people out there that don't know, the viewers that we got, you think that you put on a 3-piece drum set, okay?
Come on.
Now, the fact that you could make it sound good, hey,
let
me know how them shoulders, that lower back, and that core feels after 1 hour. I just going buck like drumline, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. You're gonna wake up in the morning, bro. You're gonna be hurting.
My siblings were in band, multiple of them. I played football. They did band. They were hurting more than I was coming back from practice.
It's no joke.
And they talked about that all the time. So band culture is more than a lifestyle. It's like something you blood, sweat, tears, and it drips out of you.
You know they talk about that salt life, band life, bro. People don't
life.
Even know. Ain't got no idea. Ain't got.
Those are the celebrities. Yeah. Those are the celebrities right there.
You want to know? Turn over to the dark side. You know what I mean? All right. Now, before we get into these top 4 games, HBCU format, in this weekend coming up, I want to talk to me a little bit about. I mean, you mentioned, the top coach, new coach, and he's the new coach of that Clark Atlanta. They just came back, and you said, it was a comeback form, but they scored 3 out of the last scoring possessions. They scored. There was 4 scores to end the game. 3 of the 4 went to Clark Atlanta. Teddy Keaton steps in this year as the new head coach. They're 3-1. Talk to me a little bit about Clark Atlanta and what QB David Wright's kind of been cooking these last couple of games.
So he earned SIAC Offensive Player of the Week this past week because he went nuclear.
Yes.
30 for 49, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. And the fun nugget is that he currently leads Division II in passing yards and touchdowns. Passing yards, he's at 1.3K already in this young season. That's through 4 games. He's at 14 touchdowns already, and that's in the 4 games. He just did this best stretch and his best impersonation after the Bethune-Cookman game. This is the best version of what Teddy Keaton will want to see out of David Wright the third. And to be honest with you, shout out to the kicker boy because he got offensive he got honors too after what he did in the game too. 5 or 6 on field goals because sometimes they just couldn't score. However, like this kid is special, Nino, and I know you love dogs. I know you love dogs, and I think I've been waiting a long time to get onto it, so let's get to it. I went to Clark Atlanta. I pulled up on Clark Atlanta. I went to Morehouse, Clark Atlanta, and Georgia State all in the same day. I went to Clark Atlanta first. I went up there and I went on the sidelines. They have a red field, Nino. Prettiest little thing ever. It might give you color blindness for a little bit as soon as you step on the field, but the energy was just juiced up at Clark. The stadium, they have like they have one side where it's like an actual stadium. Then on the other side, they have like an actual hill, and it was decked out. It's excitement. Everybody's ready to rock. We get to the game. I'm on the sidelines. I'm like, yo, what's the energy like? You know what you want to hear, feel, see on the sidelines. It's like a different type of vibe up there. They feel very much so that like they can win games. Last year when I went to Clark Atlanta multiple times, it was not pretty at all. In fact, I had my camera out there and I was going back through the footage and I was like, man, I can't even put this out because it's just like they going back and forth with each other on the sideline. It's crazy. This year, it's not the same vibe. It's completely different energy. And I noticed the togetherness and I also noticed the dog. I saw the Allen game. It went all the way down to the wire. They pulled it out 26-22 at the very end on the last possession of the game. And it was David Wright that came through in the clutch. It was him that chose to step up and rise to the occasion after Allen just beat like it was a collective gut punch out of the stadium when Allen scored to make this game uncomfortable. I got the footage of man walking to the camera like, yo, like we here. Fun fact, Coach Teddy used to just be at Allen. So it's extra, animosity, a little extra rule. So I get on the sideline, I'm like, yo, what happens? And sure enough, they come through and they come through clutch. And I'm just gonna say in this little monologue, like, look, they have a different aura and a vibe about the Panthers this year, and that's why he's my choice for best new coach coming in, rising star, rookie of the year award would probably go to him right now because one, they're undefeated. Two, the offense translated from what he did in 2023 and is translated into what he's doing now. Last year, he was doing this in Allen and putting up ranks where he was leading the conference in passing yards, passing touchdowns. Like his offenses were known to just outscore them by 6+ points per game. So he's translating that over and he's saying like, yo, you can put trust in me. Coach Keaton saying, hey, you can put trust in me. Like I'm that guy. And what we gonna do? We're gonna win. And so far they have won, it's kind of making things a little uncomfortable. And Clark fans are different because once they start winning, they start talking to you extra spicy.
Oh,
extra spicy.
They got extra Talk to me about David Wright's cooking, but he's got a weapon on the outside, and Jamal Jones just coming off a big 126-yard game touchdown. He hit. I think did he 2 touchdowns in this game? Or was it 1?
I think 2.
So he seems to be the main pass catcher on the outside. Is he a legit weapon for the Panthers?
Jamal Jones is a legit weapon. At all 5'8" of him, he might not even be 5'8". He might be a little like squirrel out there. But he was originally at Allen and came over. And now I'm in a situation where I'm just have to shake my head at sometimes and say like he has a plethora of weapons with Armand. Armand is there too. And I'm just looking at it. I like Jamal Jones's build. I like his grittiness. I love the way that he attacks the ball in the air. He's not shy away from contact. The way they've been using him this season is better because his high from Allen was like 60 receptions, 877 yards. About I think he had 8 touchdowns. But his primary focus at this university, fine one, known as Clark Atlanta, has been getting down the field. Like he averages 14.6 yards per catch last year in 2023. So it's like when you come over with Coach Keaton, it's like, yo, he knows how to get him in proper positions, and I think David Wright does have a couple of weapons on the outside that you can really come into games saying like, yo, we got a game plan for these kids. We can't we can't just sit there and think it's gonna be pretty. Like they go to Lane this weekend,
Yep.
and I know Lane is sitting back watching the film versus Allen. I know they watching that Bethune Cookman film, and I know they shaking their head like, "What are we about to do?" Because this kid, it does not matter if David Wright is getting pressured. It doesn't matter if he's getting all types of like defensive alignment in his face. He's
Cooking.
gonna sit there, move around a little bit, keep his eyes downfield, and somehow, some way deliver. And usually, it's to Jamal Jones or
He,
Amon.
he he's going to give you it's the clock Atlanta version of Jalen Daniels, right? Sit in the pocket.
Yeah,
I'll stay in the hole, let a guy come in
he
and
can
blow
stay
me
healthy
up.
though.
Yeah. Now, I forget the kid gentleman's name, but I was a big fan of him. He had a little more speed than Jamal does. But there was a
Mhm,
guy out of Florida A&M last year that ended up getting, signed UDFA to the Rams. He was a 5'8" receiver on the outside for the Rattlers.
mhm.
You know who I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but his name slips my mind. But I
Yeah,
know like right on the money.
Jamal
He reminds
reminds
you of
me
you.
similar to the game, right? That boy was
Yes,
a deep threat. He was like
yes.
16 yards per catch average. Once he got the ball in his hand downfield, good night. He was a field stretcher. If he keeps this up, man, I'm seeing eerily similarities to his
To
game
his
there.
game,
So,
it's easy that you said. You said 16 yards per catch, 14 last year at Allen. This year the same margins.
yep.
So he's translated in multiple stages, and it's just like the gentleman you said. Like if you could stretch the field in this offense, that's gonna be wonders for Coach Keaton.
Oh,
Wonders.
absolutely. You're going to be that's what he likes the best. That's what fits his scheme. So, all right, let's get into these top 4 games. I just want to give a shout out to Clock and Lane. I know you've been doing your work the last couple of years over there, and I wanted to give them a shout out, give some talk, and get some little air time. And they got dogs.
Yeah.
Like Dave Wright's a dog, man. I think he's going to
Mhm.
be someone that, make it an opportunity if he has a good season to maybe go on to another school.
He's going to definitely get like all of the HBCU bowl game invites. He's going to get those for sure.
Mhm.
He's a junior. Like he could easily enter his name into those discussions. But if he keeps putting together the season that he is right now on the pace that he is,
Mm-hmm.
it is about to be masterful. The amount of like coverage that Clark Atlanta is going to get, and how many wins that they will accumulate.
Exactly. He's giving them
Yeah.
that wow factor, something that they haven't had in a little bit. So,
Mhm.
let's get into these 4 games that I think are games of note in the HBCU slate. Right off the rip at 3:30, it's Morgan State versus Stony Brook. Now, Stony Brook, 3-1 on the year. They
Yep.
got a gentleman that I'm a fan of here, Roland Dempster. Okay, this running back, bro. 5.1 yards per carry. He's got over 400 yards. This guy's got 80 plus attempts
Yes.
in 4 games. Yo, talk to me about them. Talk to me a little about Stony Brook, and then we'll get into Morgan State a little bit.
I just want to say that Stony Brook is they're an interesting team, bro, because I don't feel like they're sneaking up on anybody just because of reputation alone. I think now they've like cemented themselves into they are very much respected. Not only do you have to prepare for them, but you better bring your jock strap.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you
Titan.
better you better bring your jock strap because the Seals are 3-1. If I told you before the season started, that they would be 3-1, what would you would have said, bro?
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. You know what I mean? And first of all, what's a Seawolf? Can you
I don't
explain
know
to
what
me?
a sea wolf is. I don't know. A mythical creature that lives somewhere in the Chronicles of Narnia? Like, I don't know.
I wish Mike Leach was alive, because if his explanation of what a sea wolf would be absolutely A1.
Perfect.
But Stony Brook, you talked about bring your jock strap, tighten up that helmet, bro.
Yes.
Anthony Farrell, linebacker
Hmm.
for the Seawolves. This dude's got 24 tackles on the year. He's got a pass.
Already.
Yeah.
Already.
Just gets downhill. Just loves contact, loves physical play. The Seawolves are cooking a little bit. I think they're gonna have like this game against Morgan State, who's 2-2. The They're tied for first in the year. I think this is going to be a battle. I mean, it's going to be two ground games, and if you're going to look at who's got the better ground game, I might have to give the advantage to Stony
Stony
Brook.
Brook.
Right?
I knew you was gonna say it. We're on the same page. We're on the same page. It's hard to trust Morgan State right now. Honestly.
Yes,
It is. But yeah, we if we talk about ground game, being physical, establishing dominance, college football is one on the interior, the offensive line, defensive lines. But if you talk about that, I would give the edge to Stony Brook. If I'm just looking head on the head, I mean,
Yeah.
they got some dogs, bro. They really do have a lot of talent, and this year they already averaging about 22 points per game. You might think what, but somehow they're still winning.
Right, but they're going against a Morgan State team that's put up single digits in 3 straight games. Moon, I don't know. There's no line that I can see right now in this game, but I would be betting on Stony Brook this way.
Billy Kosh. I would be betting on Billy Kosh. That's what I would be betting on. If I'm being honest.
Whatever the props are on Dempster, I'm taking them. I think he's going for over 100. He's probably going to find the end zone in this one.
Yes, I would agree. I would say just hit the over on the rushing mark for sure. Do you know that this is going to be the second time ever that these two schools have met with each other
in the history?
In the history between these two schools, and they actually played in 2022, and it was won on a 37-yard field goal to just cash out. So it's like it's been close the last time we saw each other. Now I know that this is the best start that Stony Brook has had in their football team since they started in the 2018 season. But there's a lot to be. They started in 2018 4-1. This year they have a chance to start 4-1, right. And I mean, if I'm a Stony Brook fan, I have to be excited. I have to be excited of what the opportunity faces, especially with the team that you just said has only scored single digits multiple times, bro.
9, 6, and 7 last week, and last week was to Virginia. I think it was. I can't even think of the name of the school, but it was a Virginia school in the HBCU.
Yeah.
Team. So it's like I'm gonna take Stony Brook Seawolves here.
Clayton Taylor is a name to watch for sure.
I like Rudy Silvera too, the DB. I think he's got like 4 or 5 pass breakups in 4 games. So a guy that's kind of lives around the ball. You want to challenge him. He's probably going to win. So that's a guy in the secondary that I do like. All right, let's get into this next game at 6:00.
Wait, before we do, you can't just skip over Morgan State. They're gonna be mad at me, bro. They're gonna be mad at me.
Well, it's gonna be hard for me not. It's single digits in 3 back-to-back games.
I could talk them up and make them appealing. You want to know how?
You can talk about the run game.
I could talk about the glass half empty. Okay, so look, Damon Wilson enters in his 3rd season as head coach for Morgan State, and you're hoping for the next step in the program right now. He spent 13 seasons at Boise State, and he achieved 3 straight SIAA conference championships. So we know that you can win. It's in your DNA. We shown it. So where is it? So if I'm looking at it, I'm just looking at Tosh Smith. It comes down to their quarterback, Tosh Smith. I mean, last year, 43%. Yeah.
So he's got 400 yards. He's been sacked 12 times.
I know, but 3 touchdowns on 3 touchdowns is hopeful. I mean, the offensive line has not been looking good.
No, but is it? Listen, here's my problem with Tosh Smith. Right? He is not a dual threat type quarterback, right?
He has to be. He's third. He's the team's 3rd leading rusher. So he has
with 66 yards. So over 4 games. So it's like
nothing cooking right now.
You can't throw the ball very well. Your line is terrible, and you can't. My concern is you can't find your way out of the pocket to just not get sacked. You're averaging 4 sacks a game. Like
that's tough.
Yes, that's very tough. Like it's hard to go forward. The ground game is good, but when you stack 6, 7, 8, 9 in the box, because you're a one-trick pony, right? Now, how does that work for your defense? Those guys are getting oxygen at halftime because they're on the field the whole game.
But to their credit, they do force a lot of turnovers. They got 6 on the year so far. Yes. So total defense, they're holding teams to 270. So from what I've seen from Stony Brook, it's like I do have to put respect on Morgan State's defense in certain ways with Jadon Carter, Dekius, Elijah Williams as well. So it's like I don't want to just count the game out. If you ask me to bet see what the line was and bet on the line, I would definitely pick Stony Brook to cover. Just because it's been hard to see Morgan State figure out their offense. Like I know it's hard for us to watch it. Like
Yeah.
as college football fans, it's tough for us to watch this, man.
My
But
problem is like they don't get inside the red zone that often. They've attempted 6 total field goals all year. And
right,
they've only attempted 140-yard field goal. So it's like if they're having a bad game in field position and they do make it to the other side of the field and they can't get to the in the red zone, do they trust the kicker? 6 field goals in 4 games, bro. You don't trust him. You just don't.
I mean, just to be that guy. The last time that Stony Brook and Morgan State played, it was all decided by a field goal.
Of course.
I'll let
That's just
that be
how
the
it goes,
segue.
right? That's just
I'll
how
let
it
that be the
goes.
segue. But they play this week, and then Morgan State actually plays Lincoln out of Pennsylvania for homecoming on October the 5th. So they need this win
They do.
just to get some momentum and get some people out there
Get some
for home.
positive vibes. You know what I mean?
Yes, because it's been so rough this year.
All right, let's get on to this next game here. Alabama A&M versus Drip U,
Drip
Florida
you.
A&M, the Rattlers here. Alabama, on the season's 2-2. Cornelius Brown seems to be the guy at the quarterback position, right? 760 yards. I mean, the 5-3 touchdown interception.
Don't get so caught up in that numbers about the 5-3. Just look at the fact that like how the offense
It's running, yes.
is running and how they have a new rhythm and a new pace with them.
He also he seems to be holding linebackers true and opening up lanes for Egan because he can move around the pocket. He can't extend plays, so they have to watch out for him. So Egan's doing well this year in the offense.
For sure.
But I would like to see not to be a stat monger, but I would like to see a little bit better. You know what I mean? 5 touchdowns in 4 games.
Of course, it's the numbers in HBCU football sometimes will make you scratch your head.
Yes.
Just look at the Benedict game from this past weekend, like where they won on the last play. Like that, the numbers in that game were insane. However, to your point, you will want to see it cleaned up. I get you.
Yeah, I like to see Duke Miller get a little bit more targets downfield. I think he's a dog. You know what I mean? He's averaging close to 17 yards per catch, 266 yards a year.
He has a tendency to play up to that mantra that we like to call dogs. When he's really locked in, like into the game, you can see his passion coming out on the field. That's one of the reasons why I like him out there. And if you're gonna have him, why not feed him?
Right.
That's what your mantra is.
It seems like Brown and Miller have had that connection though this year. I mean, 2 of the 5 touchdowns have gone to Miller. Miller is the alpha, even though he's kind of an undersized wide receiver.
He's still not alpha. I would agree.
He's with it. I think he's like 6'1", I think 180 pounds. That's a little fella at that height. But they seem to have the numbers offensively. If you're looking at like points wise, but they seem to have gotten to a rhythm where Brown
is starting to move. Like, I just feel like we just gotta give him a little bit more time. Like, I don't know if I don't want to be that guy to be like, look, give him a little bit more time. Like, no, I just want to see what the future has for him, especially with a quarterback that could just give you some type of tingly feeling on the inside when you watch him play. Like, that's what I look at.
You see it. You're like, ooh, this little flash is like, oh, that it keeps that up.
He did that? Like, what?
Yeah, you mentioned time. Well, in the meantime, Cortez Andrews will just keep the game close because this guy is on a rampage this season. 30 total tackles, 3.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. He's got 2 pass breakups. I mean, the guy has just been everywhere for them, and he's going to need to because he's going to be chasing Daniel Richardson around for the Raptors.
I just feel Daniel Richardson has been tested Let's just say that's a good way to put it, right?
Yeah,
He's been
yeah,
tested this year just with their schedule being brutal. Um,
and he's still close to 70% on the year.
he's still close to it, and that's why it makes my statement that I said true a couple of weeks back when I was just talking about how Florida A&M. I mean, I know that their fan base might have been expecting a drop off at quarterback with Jeremy Musa coming in.
Hmm.
Well, Jeremy Musa leaving,
Right, and
and he
Richardson taking
was.
over.
I mean, he did them good, leading them to HBCU national championship and Celebration Bowl, and really sending them off into the sunset in the right way. But I know there's a lot of fans and people just out there that had their question marks about whether or not we were going to see the best side out of Daniel Richardson. And I would say that throughout these games, like that this is your quarterback now. This is your quarterback. You might as
Oh
well
yeah.
just become. You might as well become acquainted with them. Like follow him on Twitter, X, whatever you call him. Like send him a gift package after the game because he just got beat up by Miami and it just keeps just coming at him. Like they can't protect him. Like just do everything you can just to make sure he feels welcome because the same love that y'all gave to Jeremy Musa that needs to be extended to him because once we get into the thick of things now with their schedule,
Yeah.
it's starting to come together. I'll just say that. But I would give him if I had to give a grade. You're better with grades than I am, but if I had to give him a grade, I would say that Daniel Richardson is giving me a solid B this season. I've been
I actually give him a B plus. I think.
okay.
Well, for a guy that's I mean, he's done well.
Yeah.
In escaping, he could very well have had 12 sacks this year. I mean, they have
Mhm.
8 on him already, but he said he's done well with the shoddy line play. The run game has been there, right? Dean and Franklin have kind of been okay, but he's been the guy. I mean, him and Gassett have a nice connection together. But
I
he's
love
been,
Gassett.
yeah, he's been the heart and soul of this Rattlers team.
Mhm.
My question is it is it the new culture that Colsey brings in there as the head coach for the
Well,
Rattlers?
he was already there,
He was the
and
assistant though, right? Now
yeah, he
he's
was
the
the
head
assistant,
coach.
and now he's the head coach because my other guy,
Took
Coach
off in the
Philly,
night.
he took off in the night, but we all kind of knew that it was going to happen.
Right.
I really do wish that we can just get more retention for coaches, like after they get success, like after you get success of winning a Celebration Bowl, HBCU national championship, then why leave? Stay. Like keep building. Your recruiting pipeline is dominant. Like why go? And it's like I know you're going to chase the next big job opportunity. But what
Right.
we got here in HBCU is special, bro.
That's funny.
It's special and it is cozy because his style is a little bit more to me buttoned up in approach and more methodical than uh Coach Willie. And I've got a chance to see it in these games. I mean, it hasn't been pretty to start the season. It wasn't pretty against Norfolk State. It wasn't pretty the week before. I mean, week after. It wasn't pretty against Miami. Like this past week, ugh, against Troy, I'm like, I still have my question marks. But to be honest with you, they're just happy because they are now understanding what it feels like to be the hunted. They went from being the rattlers that were starving to just get to the promised land for real to now being in a situation where
Top
they are
dog.
now the hunted
Mhm.
and people you're not sneaking up on nobody. I picked FAMU to at least cover the spread against Miami and I talk trash on Twitter that I
Oh,
have to
boy.
back up. And then they got to halftime, and I'm sitting here and I gotta make a FaceTime call like, "Yeah, bro, you got it," because I thought my team was gonna cover. I thought they was gonna cover, and they did not. They didn't. But to answer your question, Cozy and what he's doing, he's been a guy that I need like highly emphasis of the special teams and just the details that we get in college football. And I think those are the things that stick out to me. Like for Alabama A&M, it's just a brutal gauntlet because they got 3 straight road games away from the state of Alabama.
Hmm.
after playing Auburn.
Oh,
like
uh,
what? They already 0-1. They lost 73-3 to Auburn.
they got $2 million check.
Yes, they got a $2 million check, but it's going to help them. So if I had to check, I'm turning around. I'm running away. Let's go.
Yeah,
We'll take that
happy.
and go.
Yeah,
Nobody cares about that. We beat y'all band anyways. And matter of fact, it was cool getting a chance to meet y'all band because now y'all get a chance to see what a real band looks like. Auburn, like that's what it feels like. And we'll take that 73 and that 2 million, and we gone back to Alabama. But they looking for their first win on the road since defeating Grambling State 45-24. And that was on homecoming in 2023 of last year for Alabama A&M.
it's
It's tough. It doesn't get any easier. It
No.
doesn't. Austin P last week wasn't easy. Like I was expecting this game, but I do have some breaking news to report,
Talk to me.
This is breaking news courtesy of CFBMoon. This game between Alabama A&M and Florida A&M Rattlers is going to be rescheduled for Thanksgiving weekend, and they no longer are playing the game because of the incoming hurricane that's supposed to be hitting this Thursday to Friday, and it's going to have great impacts on the state of Florida. So they are moving the game to Thanksgiving weekend. So I know we just broke it down because we college football sickos, but breaking news right before we just came on live, they're actually rescheduling it. Now, my instant reaction to this is heartbreaking because I needed this right now. I need to see it right now. Like, come on, why do I have to wait? Like,
But on Thanksgiving weekend, that'll be something that everybody's gonna watch. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all people want to
yes,
do is watch football.
that's going to be
weekend.
spicy because after we're in the heat of all the classic games happening, so you just add another fuel to the fire.
Right.
It's more for us to love during Thanksgiving weekend, but it's going to include a lot of people adjusting their travel plans for sure. Like just people in the media. I think about that side of the things now. Like,
I feel
dang,
bad for people with tickets. Like
bro,
now,
they gonna have to readjust that too.
oh yeah, that's a lot. They got time. Got a little bit of time. Oh, I thought about that receiver from the Rattlers, Xavier Smith,
Yes,
speedster. Guy have boogie to him.
he probably is one of the fastest guys on their team.
Yeah, he was handsome. I think he would have been one of the fastest guys in the MEAC or what league of the Rattlers is it MEAC?
Swag.
SWAC. That's it. Yeah, he
But they used to be in the media.
he is absolute gas.
I don't put anything past the Rattlers losing to Troy 34-12. Like I just think you're gonna have to take your lumps and bruises when it comes to just college football now and just the scheduling. We've seen it. A lot of these FCS teams are going to have to get baptized by water and fire.
Troy got a quarterback in what's his name? Goose, I think.
Goose gets.
Yeah, he
got some juice.
He's phenomenal on third down. He's phenomenal in the red zone. That dude's like 75% on third down in the red zone. So I'll take that if I was Troy. So they weren't ready. Next on the docket, before we finish up, we got one more game after this. It's Jackson State versus Texas Southern. That's at 7:00 on ESPN Plus. It's a gentleman over here for the 2-2 Jackson State Tigers that just jumps off the screen to me.
Who are you talking about, my guy?
I'm gonna go with Killer Cam, man. Killer
McCoy.
This dude, 9 yards a pop. He's just, bro, he's like a firecracker coming out of the line of scrimmage. My man loves contact. He's like a magnet for it, bro. I'm a big fan of Cameron McCoy. Please talk to me about Killer Cam.
3 touchdowns, 1 interception on the year. Yup, check mark. 2 touchdowns, 150 on the ground. Yup, check mark. When you look at him, I'm like, yo, Jackson State fans got to be excited to come to games now. Like, you don't have no excuse to miss this. These are fireworks that we see right now. And I know it's been spicy. Lane College opening week, I said, man, 58-7, they putting up fireworks. The rhythm is there. The tempo is there. And then I'm seeing Southern comes in and I'm like, yo, that game, you already know the beef. It's beef. Yeah. It's beef. They still won 33-15. And I said to myself, you know what, Moon? It wasn't pretty. Even it's Southern still has some plays in that game where I'm like, man, I know you want them back, but you had some that it's got to give you some sense of encouragement if you're a Southern University Jaguar. But McCoy is just an absolute dog, man. I just love him. I don't think people should get caught up in like the 51% completion and all of that. You're just gonna see some slightly skewed numbers. I want you to get caught up in the fact that what Nino said, like 9 yards a pop, he pushing it down the field. Like
Stupid.
he's pushing it
Eastern,
down the field. He's
Eastern
been limiting
Michigan is
turnovers.
missing this boy.
Yes.
Missing this boy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the fact that they've been running the rock
Oh,
and having a good balance with it, like I just wish that they would lean into it more. If I'm a Jackson State fan, like long gone are the days of Coach Prime. This ain't Coach Prime's Jackson State.
no.
This is a different type of culture, a different type of energy that we have here. And the energy so far is so good. Like I would look at it and have a hope if I'm looking at Jackson State's outlook just this season alone, even though they been in situations where I'm like, yo, how much I guess what's the best way to put this? And I'm trying to like be respectful to both sides. How much more can we take? You know, of just purgatory of just not winning. Being at a Celebration Bowl had to feel amazing. Losing the Celebration Bowl multiple
Terrible.
times has to feel absolutely devastating. When can we get back to those glory days? Like, that's what I'm hoping for when I talk about the Jackson State side. McCoy, I knew you would love him. He got that type of energy and juice that you love and that you like, that sticks out to you. The problem for other teams in opposition is that, like, when they're running the rock and they're throwing it at that high of a clip, like it makes you you can't diagnose anything. You can't diagnose anything. It's hard. You're playing on the fly. And to me, I would love Jackson State more if they're playing at a higher tempo because it puts defenses in more of a disadvantage because it got Cam. He's up there. Is he better than David Wright? Nope.
No, but hey, not yet. Not yet. It's just only, this is his. I know he won't have any more opportunity, right? He's a senior, isn't he?
He's up there.
I don't know if he's a redshirt senior or if he has any more, that COVID year left or whatever. But if TC Taylor and what they're doing over there, he's cooking something.
He got to get it out of the mud, just like the rest of them do. Like Coach Dishman, he got to get it out of the mud. It's gonna be some long nights, especially on the recruiting trail. Coach Dishman got to get it out of the mud.
Hey.
Prairie View's coach got to get it out of the mud.
Oh, there's a Gramblin's getting it out the mud now. You know what I mean? So, but talk about getting it out the mud. There's a guy who went to Jackson State that ended up getting, drafted by. I think it might have been UDFA or a 7th round pick, Aubrey Miller, right, to Miami Dolphins.
Aubrey Miller is an absolute problem. Last year he went crazy. He went absolute dummy, and then he came out to the Senior Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he showed,
2 years ago, not last year, the year before.
Yeah, it showed out.
You know who reminds me of him on Jackson State right now? That pitbull mentality. Reed Pullman, baby.
Oh man,
my Reed man, sophomore. Cooking. I see some aspects to that Aubrey Miller downhill. Just want to explode into the line.
Just keep him on the field.
Yeah,
keep him on the field. I don't care if he has to play 100 snaps. Keep him on the field. Attach a Gatorade bottle, a Powerade bottle to his jersey. Do something. You can take shots of Powerade on the field. Whatever you got to do, just keep him on the field.
24 tackles, 12 solo. He's got a tackle, 1.5 sacks. I think he's got 2 tackles for loss. I mean, this guy is just everything for that front seven. The Jackson State.
It can be better. It's a lot of it's technique, fundamentals, like you get it. But sometimes, even if you don't even know where to go, just run downhill, hit somebody, and it worked.
He's going to have an opportunity, Moon, to run downhill and hit somebody because unfortunately, Texas Southern ain't got nothing when it comes to passing the ball. It's a run game. They spread it out between 3 backs, right? Texas Southern. So
KJ Cooper is not pushing the ball down the field. KJ Cooper on the season has
one
Nino.
touchdown.
You got more passing yards than KJ
That's what I
Cooper.
was gonna say, bro. He's averaging 5 yards per throw.
It's not down the field. And then the gentleman Quintel Quinn, like cool name, but the fact that they're running him into the ground already to start the year off makes me discouraged. And it's like, who else is going to step up? And
They,
I
hey,
hope
hey, they can't. The other two guys, if they're running them in the ground too, they both got 25 attempts. It's like 30, 25, and 25. Moon. They're literally killing this backfield because they have an anemic, non-existent pass game.
it's got to be fixed because now you got players like Jaren Johnson that's just asking himself, man, can I hit the transfer portal too? Please, like,
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense to me to me not be more involved into this offense, and it's just a game plan as a whole. Like this is super discouraging for me. Then it's the turnovers. Oh, okay, we're on a limited turn. I don't care. Y'all can't push the ball down the field. Y'all give up a lot of big plays, and the consistency from like drive to drive is just not there. And that's what I want back established in Houston at Shell Energy Stadium this upcoming week. Like that's what I'm hoping for. Does it happen? Nope, it doesn't. Jackson State rolls, but in my
Yeah,
opinion,
Jackson State rolls. I mean, these guys have trouble scoring any points. They've attempted a total of 3 field goals the whole year. Their third down percentage is in the bottom half of the 30s, dude. It's just like third
bad.
and two, third and one. That's not a guarantee. Like that's a struggle play for them at this moment. I think Jackson State rolls. I think you're gonna see a lot of Killer Cam boying it out there. We'll be yelling dip set here and there. He's going to be dipping and setting on all over the Tigers and Texas Southern. So give me Jackson State in this one and TC Taylor and the crew to take the W here.
I'll take it, bro. I'll take that, and then whatever your point total that you're taking on that, I'm gonna sprinkle extra 5 points on top of it, just because I really feel it's gonna be domination from start to
Yeah,
finish.
yeah,
Like I really
I'm with
expect them boys not to really even. By the time you remember, you know how we started off the show
you.
about talking about the marching band. Yep, that's what we're gonna be paying attention to. The
Yeah.
marching bands.
Yeah, it should be. We can't wait for it. Like everybody coming back to the seats when the marching bands come out.
Right.
You know
And I
what I'm
don't want to
saying?
be that guy, right? Because,
No.
I want to big up all HBCU football and shout out to
Facts are
Texas
facts, my
showing what they're
friend.
doing. But facts are facts. And, 183 yards passing so far this season in 4 games is like, it's like,
66 attempts between 3 guys in 3 games is
it's crazy.
pretty bad. So the last game on the docket is a bad blood game.
Yeah,
North Carolina A&T versus South Carolina State, 6 p.m.
man.
ESPN Plus game. It's just another guy that just fits my realm of dog status. For South Carolina State, dog status. DeAndre Diehard transfers over from Benedict College, bro. This kid is cooking.
228 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 games. What did you just say, Mo? I wrote it back for you. 228 yards,
Yes.
5.3 yards per carry. How many touchdowns? 2.
Yeah, bro.
And he hasn't even been getting a lot of touches for real. They haven't been giving it like the last thing we talked about, Texas Southern.
Yo, they gave him one game of touches. He went off against Citadel.
Exactly. And that was it. They
18,
did
bro.
it again.
Crushed
They
him.
did it again. It's like you're going away from what's working, bro.
Yeah. He's the guy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Eric Phoenix is okay at quarterback, but he is.
I like Phoenix.
I like
mean,
you like Phoenix. I like Caden High. I think Caden High makes Phoenix better. I don't think Phoenix makes Caden
Okay.
High better.
Okay, because Caden High, I mean, you talk about a stable of reliability.
Yes.
An
yes.
important piece of the puzzle for everything happening in 2024.
Yeah.
Caden High is exactly what you need.
Mhm.
Like
He's the Nick Nash for them. You know what I mean?
Yes, he's the Nick Nash for San Jose State. Yes, he's the Nick Nash because he went. You look at his stat line and you'd be like, oh, he has 179 yards, 1 touchdown. You'd be like, oh, that's not bad. Watch the game, just watch the game because he is that guy.
He's 160 pounds. He plays like he's 185. Like
Oh,
doesn't care, goes
easily.
across the middle, don't it take you off the play. He don't give a care if you're a linebacker, safety, it don't matter to him. And he's if you watch a little bit, he likes to run his mouth at the line of
He's a
scrimmage.
talker.
He gets in the head before the ball is snapped, and I love it.
Mm, I love that
Um,
too. You're gonna have to need a little bit of that. You're gonna need it.
yeah, I
You are
mean
going to need
you're
it.
gonna get some guys that got a chip on his shoulder, but I mean they're coming in at 1-3. You know, the Aggies of A&T. They got two
Oh,
guys, but they got one guy. You want to talk about running dudes into the ground, bro?
Kenji.
Wellesley Graves has 62 attempts on the year. 62 for 225 yards. Now, simple math, that's about 3.5 yards per carry. That ain't good. You're killing this guy. Why are you killing this guy when you have Kenji?
You have
Averaging
Kenji
almost
Christian.
9 yards per pop, bro. Why is Kenji Christian not at even attempts with homeboy, with Wesley, and you have a Thunder and a Lightning backfield?
Because it's hard for them to run the ball and do their game plan like they want to when they're just behind. They got smacked last week. It's absolutely torched. You ever seen Final Destination?
66 points they hung up on.
Where the worst thing that can happen happens?
Yeah.
That's what happened. Like, you ever seen Fantastic Four?
And it
where they
was
hit the flame on?
defensive points, bro. North Carolina Central was scoring points on defense more than they were scoring on offense.
It was fumbles, interception. Like, it was just everything that you could hope to not happen happened. And that's the part in a rivalry game that's going to sting for 64 days. You're going to have to live with that. That's not going nowhere. You're going to feel the burn for that one.
Oh yeah.
Really bad. But to answer your question, like, I am a fan for Kenji. If it was up to me, give me Kenji more than I'm taking Graves, Freddie Graves, because you just say like the pop, like the explosiveness. He averaged 64 yards per game, and it's like they're not even really using him for real. He already scored on the season, but it's like you have to have a positive game script and have your defense working unison with you in order to get the goals that they need. We talked about some teams that are running their running backs into the ground.
Yes.
I don't want this to be North Carolina A&T.
Right.
You got Shameik. He's there. He got 73 yards on the game.
Yeah.
Like, he got he got some work in the passing game too.
Yo,
and it's like you have a plethora of weapons, and it's like, why don't you
spread the wealth? Kenji is 6'4", bro. 6'4", 210, 212 pounds. All right, he could probably put another 10 on, and this guy would be. You're looking at like a baby Brandon Jacobs coming out of the backfield.
Yes, you talk about players like in road. You want to build your road to glory. That he's
there.
He's a build your road to glory player.
He's the guy. He's the guy you can build your road to glory for 100%.
Kevin White is interesting. 111 yards per game. It's not cutting it for me, bro. And it's really just he's not my cup of tea. Why, Moon?
He doesn't take.
Be more specific. He's not going to make the mistake, but he's not going to push the ball down the field like we need him to in order to put you in a position to win.
The HBCU. He's the Peyton Thorne of the HBCU, bro. He's checked down Charlie. It's going to be 9 yards or under. He's not going to push the ball deep. He don't want to make the mistake, right? He's Jacoby Brissett. That this is what we got. But you got to have some life to get the box unstacked. You got to make them stay true. You got to get that safety that's sitting in the nickel, sitting on the line, that's yelling at, I'm coming for you, boy. Like, you got to get him out, set him back, make sure he can't be on the line, make sure he can't be in a box, make sure he's 2-3-4 steps off the line of scrimmage. So maybe he has to cover a guy, but they don't fear any of that right now. Like, he's 63%, but 63% of passes on the 6 yards.
Exactly. And I where does North Carolina A&T play this week, Nino?
They play South Carolina State.
Yeah. But where's the game at?
Oh, it's in South Carolina.
It's in Orangeburg, South Carolina. That's where it
Yeah,
is at
yeah.
Oliver C. Dawson Stadium, and they are not going to let these
Sorry.
boys. They are not going to let these boys come into there thinking that
Yeah.
the guy that we just talked about is going to only pass the yards for 5 yards a pop. No, it's not going to happen, bro.
No.
It can't, because I'll tell you this: the thing that makes you concerned for North Carolina A&T is the fact that they score less points on the road than they do on at home. Their defense is bottom 25 unit. They give up 43 points per game. That's the 7th worst in the entire FCS.
Yeah, it's bad.
I want their offense to be in better game scripts, but when their defense is just like, oh my gosh, it makes it hard. Even
Battle from behind.
their offense is still 87th in FCS at 19 points per game. 19, they can't even give me 21 Savage.
No.
They gave me a
They can't
19.
even give it to Kobe Bryant, bro. Nothing. You got nothing.
Bottom 25 unit. Now we talk about the elephant in the room. North Carolina's scoring offense has been abysmal. 95th in scoring like this year. But their defense is better. So that's what's helping them stay in the contest this year. If I had to just give you my overall thoughts, I think the game is going to be closer towards the beginning of it, because you have more energy, you got more excitement, it's a lot more, everybody's into it. But as we get deeper into this contest, we're just gonna see the battle of the Aggies versus the Bulldogs. Who's the real Bulldog? Like,
You're gonna start
and
to see DeAndre rolling down as the quarters start to wind down. The dog's gonna be grinding it out, and yeah, I think South
Duhart
Carolina.
is due for a big game. He really is. I just wanted them to utilize it, get Caden High more involved. You talk about Justin Smith Brown. He can get more involved too. I like the way they've been trying to get him involved, but Phoenix, we're gonna need more. Let's just be
Yeah,
honest. We're gonna need more. We're gonna need more. But I mean, he's better
it's a
suited
get right
than
game.
the other guy. Yeah.
This is a get right game. It's a get right rivalry game, and I think that this game puts South Carolina at 500 at 2-2. Right, they just got ass slapped by Georgia Southern, 42-14 last
Yes.
weekend. So 2 weekends ago. So it's like, but they have A&T, and then Tennessee Tech, who got ripped apart last year. Their roster it was just taken. They lost multiple people on the defensive side of the ball. They lost the quarterback. They've
Yes.
lost a ton. Fort Valley State is looking up at everybody right now. Delaware
Future is
State
bright.
is looking up at everybody right now. They have trouble
Mhm.
scoring points at any way they possibly can. So they could go on a 4-game winning streak, be possibly 4-2 when they take on the rivals North Carolina Central. That is a game.
That's gonna be better contest than what the Aggies gave them.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So
It's gonna be closer too. I just think it'd be if I had to project for it, I know it's a lot of things that can happen, especially with classics already getting
it's
kicked off.
31-10 at least South Carolina.
You taking for this game between the
Yeah, for
Aggies
this game,
and
yeah.
Bulldogs? 31-10?
Yeah.
That's not, no, I wouldn't be opposed to that. That's cool. I'll give them more respect. I'll say final score South Carolina State 36, Aggies 18.
You're being nicer than
I'm
me.
just saying that maybe they just figure something out.
I'll
Maybe
tell
they
you
just figure
what, though.
something out.
If South Carolina runs 4 in a row and gets to that North Carolina Central game, we're going to be bringing. You're coming back on CFBPrime. We're
Yeah,
going to be breaking that. That's going to be the
for
main
sure.
game to talk about, because I think that's like fireworks. Get your popcorn ready.
I know this game was not I know it was one of the last games we talked about, but I think it could be very well like one of the more spicy matchups. Just
Yeah,
not from coaches that matchup. We got just quarterbacks, the intrigue in both of those. We have the cancellation of the Alabama A&M and FAMU game, so
right.
you got more eyes and people trying to figure out what are we going to watch.
Exactly.
And you look at up, and you just happen to see North Carolina A&T. Can they pull out the upset? I've seen crazier things happen in the world of college football.
They say
But
any given Saturday, right?
any given Saturday, but chances looking bleak with what we got on the other side. But whew, I'll tell you, Nino, I'll definitely come back for that one. I wanted to talk to you about something real quick because
Hit
it was
me.
on the docket before.
What's up?
It's FCS ball talk real quick.
Oh, you want to talk about North Dakota State?
They opened up Missouri Valley Football Conference play this week, Nino. They got to be talked about. They're number 2 right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 2, 3-1.
They scored 140 something points in the last 3 weeks combined, bro. They just put up numbers, and they scored 26 against Colorado, right?
Yep. Shamar Brown, come on. Jackson Williams, just spicy. I love it. And Brown, he had a nice game, 126, 3 touchdowns on this past one. And it's the first North Dakota State first 100-yard performance of the season. And it's a great sight to see.
You know what's a great sight to see, my man Moon? A great sight to see is actually see a real football player by the last name of Lance. Not Trey Lance. I'm talking about his brother, okay? I'm talking about
Bryce.
Yes, bro. Leads the team in receiving, right? I believe he has 20 receptions, close to like 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. You saw Bryce being, when crunch time came against Colorado, a real team that they faced, right? Like a real, top tier team. Bro, it was Bryce.
Yep.
The whole time, bro, they were
106.
feeding. So I think this kid is the real deal, and I think he's going to be the main factor in this offense against an Illinois State Redbirds team that is also 3-1. Kind of a surprise this year.
They are a surprise. We'll talk
Rittenhouse,
about
baby. Rittenhouse, baby. You know what I mean? Tommy, my boy Tommy.
I know. You know somebody that got my heart though? Cam Miller. Cam Miller does have my heart. Like, I really do like watching him play. Shamar Brown is really just fascinating to watch as a player. I like his build. I just like the way he moves on the field. And then I just really wish that they would give more work to Nathan Hines because he can already show his big play potential just for the season so far. But they're just filled with All-Americans, FCS All-Americans, all up and down his roster from Cam, Gray Zabel, Dylan Hendricks, and more. And when we look at the opposite side of, well, I guess we were talking about offense, but like the defense has really stepped up, in my opinion, this year a lot. Dylan Hendricks is taking that next step to me. And I'm happy that they've been changing Logan around. And giving him some more PT in different positions too, and trusting him. I really do feel like the Fargo Dome is a place that should be feared, and I wouldn't go and want to play in there. They're 33-6 at home. Why would I want to play in that crazy place? Like 84 of the last 86 games they've won over non-conference opponents. What is Illinois State? A non-conference opponent. So if I'm looking at just the betting odds, I mean,
Well, all right, that's fine. But they have the X factor.
They do.
Rittenhouse is the X factor. You want to talk about dual threat, dude?
Yeah, you can talk about him.
This kid is the real deal, Holyfield. I mean, he's talking about 66% completion, 6 to 2 TD interception ratio. Got over 160 yards on the ground, averaging 7 yards per pop with another guy in the backfield. You know what I mean? WW. Make sure it's right, okay? WW.com. My man's averaging 6 yards per pop. He got 80 attempts on the year already. So between Wright and Rittenhouse, bro, they get jiggy. No Will Smith. And I believe that people are probably sleeping. Listen, did you know only Redbirds I see are Cardinals outside my window?
Come on, man. I knew
All
you was
right.
gonna try to go there. I knew it. But I'm missing the Fargo Dome. I know they don't play in the Fargo Dome this week. I know it's a homecoming game for Illinois State, but just talking about the mystique and the aura of North Dakota and North Dakota State, what they have. However, on what you just said, you said only Redbirds is outside of your house. Oh man, they gave us one of the most memorable games though. When they played in the FCS championship, and I think it was it 2012? No,
It was
2014.
maybe it was a
Yeah,
while ago.
2014. It was yeah, it was a while ago, but it was like 10 years removed from that one. And I think that this one could be good because both of these teams are not only good on paper, but you watch them play, and I'm like, yo, I can see exactly why these kids have 3 wins. And they see reasons why they have been in multiple FCS playoff appearances. Like
Exactly.
their program is legendary.
Before
Six
North
time,
Dakota State was on their run of being super. Illinois State was the team before them. You know what I mean? Like they
yeah,
were the dudes. So it's like you can't battle the past and present.
it is a past and present matchup, and I think whenever they eclipse 500 yards, that's something potent that happens with them. I think that they can get over that this week, just because maybe, just maybe, the guy that you said
My boy
and
Rittenhouse, baby.
WW can get active, and I think this year is the year for their offense to take those next steps, the great steps that you would want them to see. I mean, Daniel, how you say his name? Daniel Sobowicz. It's how you say his name? Sobowicz. I don't remember his name. I must probably butcher his name, but
I'm the worst one, so I'm
he
not even
got
good.
he got injured, so it's like made a lot of people have to step up and get the production from other people. And then you got Xavier Lord stepping in. So it's like I want a lot of playmaking explosion this week. And I look at one game that can give that to me in the FCS. It is this one, I don't even think we should overthink this. Like they average 32 points per game. 32.
This is this is the heavyweight bout right here. The
Yeah.
heavyweight bout. Sobkovitz is out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna give you the guy right now. That's gonna be the
The X Factor.
the X factor. Freshman,
Oh
all
man.
5'9" of them. Dylan Lord.
Yes.
Dylan
Yes.
Lord is gonna be that dude that's gonna step up for Sobkovitz and fill in. I think him and Rittenhouse.
They can figure out a connection together. I mean, I trust Tommy. I really do. All 5'11" of them.
Yeah, hey, bro, I don't give a shit. We watch Flutie do it, right? So he's not afraid of anything. He ain't
No.
afraid of. He'll sit in the pocket with a guy coming down the barrel at him. He's mobile enough to move around. He's definitely mobile. You get him out of it, look out, he can take off, right? But he looks to throw the ball first, and I
Mhm.
think that Rittenhouse is a guy people kind of sleeping on. I think this game is going to be popcorn type material.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like shout out to the snack that I gave the goated status to at the beginning
I'm
of the
gonna
show.
go with this game. I think it's gonna be a one-score game, and it's gonna be right down to whoever gets the last touchdown or whatever it may be. Possession
Mhm.
can walk away with this one. I think this
My
one's gonna be real tight. There's no line. I just checked it. There's no line and no spread right now for it.
mhm.
It's off the board. But I'm going with gonna have to go with the Redbirds on this one.
I'm going Redbirds too. We on the shake hands. We good. Like let's go.
Let's
I'm
go.
good. I'm good with that. Like
And then,
I'm taking
hey,
the
and that's
Redbirds.
the perfect way, Moon, to close it out. We're gonna close it out taking the. I think it's the underdog. I think
Yeah,
everybody's riding the Bisons because they're the recency bias, right?
it's
But
homecoming. I'm not losing on homecoming. Nope,
it's
not happening.
homecoming. We talked about the past and the present. Well, the Redbirds of Illinois State are gonna bring the ghost out. Christmas past,
Hey,
baby.
WW Winkers right.
WW
Remember the
for the
name X
W.
Factor. That's
Bang!
my guy
All
right
right.
there.
This is CFB Prime, the HBCU edition on the CFB Nation. That's my guy, CFB Moon. I am downtown Nino Brown.
Can I give a shout out, Nino, before we get out of here?
Go ahead.
Special shout out to you for having me and all the work that you do behind the scenes, on the scenes, stepping onto the scene, whatever you do, and everything you do. Shout out to you, bro. Much love.
I
And
appreciate you.
shout out to CFB Nation. Also, I want to give a special shout out to the number one team at FCS that didn't even get their name mentioned today, but I still have to tell you. The team that's averaging 660 points today, 60 points per game in the FCS. I'm talking about Harding, the team that everybody around the nation should fear. The team that has running backs galore. That's who we should end the episode off with.
And that's how we're going to end it off. We out. It's CFB Prime. Harding to the top.